Hello, everybody. I had a demo scheduled and all three folks were not able to show up. So I figured I'm going to record the demo anyway and send it off. So my name's Erica Martin, excited to virtually show all of you around Get More Math. I was a former high school math teacher. I taught for 14 years. I used Get More Math in my own classroom for the last 2 years, was so impressed with the results and the impact it had on my kids' retention that I became a huge fan and eventually joined their team. So let me go ahead and get started today. What you're looking at right now is a student. This is Carol Marshall, and she is working on a Get More Math assignment entitled Rational Numbers. I want everyone to understand that this assignment was not created by Get More Math, but rather by her teacher. What we can assume is that the teacher has recently taught a lesson on rational numbers. I always like to make it very clear that Get More Math is not an instructional tool. We do not have instructional videos of any kind, but we do provide this fantastic practice to your students. So let's get into that. You'll notice that the rational numbers assignment says she has 3 of 14 required points. I like to immediately take your attention over here to the left, and let's see where those 14 points come from. So we break down every assignment into 2 sections. The top section is entitled Targeted Skills, and you'll see that we have 6 required points here, and Spiral Review, and we have 8 required points there. So that is the first way in which Get More Math really increases your students' retention, breaks that forgetting cycle, and assists your teachers, is that every time your students are practicing in a Get More Math assignment, they're getting practice that was targeted by the teacher, that is related to what was recently taught. Everybody is getting something similar up here. However, in the Spiral Review section, every student is getting an individualized selection of which skills to spiral through based on their strengths and weaknesses. So as you can see, if the teacher taught a lesson on rational numbers, we've got 2 white squares here. They're white because we do not know yet whether or not the student understands these skills or not. So as the students are working through it, we can take a look at this one. This is a multi-select. If your state has recently introduced those problems to your students on their state test, we've now got those. So Get More Math is sort of cycling back and forth between this new material. So I'm going to go ahead and answer these questions correctly. I've now got 4 of my 6 points. I'm going to go ahead and answer this one incorrectly. Maybe then I check over it, I fix my answer. Notice that when I get smileys, a new problem comes up. However, Get More Math still only has 4 points here. We only give points when the students get the answer correct. We don't dock points, but that is what we're counting. We're not counting just completion, but rather we're counting, do they actually understand it by getting it correct? I'm going to go ahead and answer this one right, because what I want to show you, okay, this skill I've gotten correct all 3 times. Remember, this skill I missed once. So when I go ahead and answer this one, I'm going to go ahead and get this one incorrect again. I want to kind of show you what happens if a student is struggling with a skill. So remember, I've missed this one twice now. I'm going to go ahead and get this right. I'm going to fulfill my obligation. What you'll notice is Get More Math is going to say, okay, because they've gotten 3 correct of each one, we're going to turn those skills to yellow, which for now is initial understanding, okay? But we're not done. We're only halfway through our assignment. Now Get More Math is choosing for me a skill that I was assigned in May. I've reached the level of understanding of green, which is actually a proficiency level higher than yellow. So we go white, initial proficiency is yellow, then we've got green, then we reach the longest term proficiency, which are those stars that you're seeing. So when I go ahead and answer this question, Get More Math says excellent. We now are convinced that you remember that from May. Let's go work on a skill from June. So I read through this problem. I answer this problem from June, and because I got that one right, and I've done enough to convince Get More Math, it actually leveled me up to a star. Takes me back to a problem in May. So I'm going to go ahead and answer that problem. So what you can imagine, I just leveled that one, is what your students are doing in Get More Math is they're doing enough practice on today's skills, but they're also integrating practice on the past skills so that we're not constantly learning the skill, mastering the skill, but then forgetting it. When your kids are consistently spiraling through all the old content, then what happens is they're more prepared when it comes time to take those cumulative exams, okay? If you're wondering, the only color that I haven't mentioned here is red. So red skills are your lowest level of proficiency. So you can imagine that this particular skill here that I learned back in May, I must be struggling with, as well as a skill that was recently taught in September. I'm still struggling with that. So Get More Math is going to highlight those skills. Notice that the ones without dollar signs are not selectable. This is where it's individualized for each kiddo. So the kids don't have the free will to just choose anything. They have to choose from the problems that have been selected and highlighted by Get More Math, okay? So that's just a little bit about Get More Math and our spiral review. I always also like to show off that the students can pull up any previous assignment that they haven't completed, or they can work in just spiral review, which is another mode that teachers love. If they aren't interested in that targeted skill, they will just tell their students to go into spiral and work there. What I'd like to show you from the teacher app is our live teacher dashboard. I have my class selected. I can see that Carol's been working. She's got 9 points today. It's been almost 2 minutes since she's got her last answer correct. I can look at her current problem. As the teacher, I'm able to see the answer. If she's really struggling, I can replace that problem. I can send her a message, send her a game credit. If we go back to her screen, you'll notice that that's now been changed to a fresh new problem. Carol can also raise her digital hand, which teachers love because they will then get an alert on their screen that Carol needs help. In fact, if they click on the hand, they'll be able to see the problem that she's asking for help with. Anytime you see this square on your screen, teachers can use this to do a full screen projection if they, in fact, want to do some guided practice on the whiteboard, okay? Where do all those skills come from? A lot of people ask me, do you give some sort of diagnostic to decide what gets placed in here? And the answer is no. This is all about teacher control. So what you'll notice here is that assignment called rational numbers that I created based on my lesson. In the center, you'll notice all of the grade levels from grade 2 all the way up to trig and statistics. Please note that we are completely standards aligned for all 50 states, starting at grade 3 and going through Algebra 2 or Math 1, 2, 3 if you're a state that uses the integrated collections. So grades 2, trig, and stat are not complete, but we do have some topics there for you to choose from, okay? When you choose your grade level, you've got 4 options across the top. You've got topics, you've got your state level collection, you've got a unit guide, and we do have collections that are aligned to the NWEA map growth results. For now, I'm going to just stick with topics. I'm going to assume that today I am teaching a lesson on expressions. So I might look at this particular skill, cycle through some examples. If this is something I want my students to practice, I'm going to simply add that skill to an assignment. I'll call it expressions. Maybe I want more than one skill. I look at this. I can cycle through here. We're talking about arithmetic vocabulary. I can add that one. Interpreting numerical expressions. Maybe I really like that as well. Okay. So I've added 3 skills. I now get to decide how many correct answers would I like for each skill. We recommend 3. We want your students to do just enough of today's content so that they have time to practice the previous content from yesterday, the day before, the week before, the month before, or months before. That's where this spiral review comes into play. We autofill it with 8. Teachers are welcome to increase or decrease that number as they see fit. So I like nice even numbers. So a 20-point assignment, I'm going to ask for 11 points in spiral review, 9 points from my new skills. Notice that when I assign this to my class, let's go see what changes on Carol's screen. Now, Carol's screen says that I'm working on expressions. I've got 0 of 20 points. You'll notice I have 3 skills up in this targeted section, only one of which is brand new. The fact that these are both yellow and green tells me that I had previously targeted them in the past. So I can go ahead, work through these 9 points as well as these 11. I do want you to notice that this one brand new skill, the one that turned up white, is now part of the spiral review moving forward. So this particular skill right here, once I work on it today, will be included in the spiral review every day moving forward. All right. That's just a very brief overview of what Get More Math has to offer. Now let's talk about the pilot. So our pilot requires 2 things, something of an administrator and something of the teaching staff. We do ask that an administrator at every campus meet with us to view this demo and provide their approval. We want them to understand that the pilot is best used for the entire campus, not just a single teacher, because you only get 1 year to pilot GMM for free. After that, we'll ask you to either buy a license or it will simply expire. We also like that administrator to meet with us at least once over the course of the pilot to review your progress. We'll go through the admin reports that administrators have access to. So that's sort of the admin requirement and buy-in. What we ask of the teachers is that as they're working through the pilot, we want them to complete 3 training sessions. Each training session is completely free. They are all 30 minutes in length, and they are delivered via Zoom. The first training we'd like you to schedule as soon as possible. That's called Getting Started. We want your teachers to understand what Get More Math's all about. We'll help them create their classes, get their students rostered, and create their first few assignments. Then we want them to go work with their kiddos for at least 4 to 6 weeks so that they have some data in their own classroom for when they come back for the second training, which is called Tracking Progress. This is where we're going to look at some of the data reports that we offer, talk to teachers about how they can use that to make changes in their classroom and their instruction. The third and final training is about our exams feature. We've got this amazing tool that can easily create cumulative assessments. We will then provide targeted corrections and remediation on the skills that students miss. And then with the touch of a button, we create an individualized follow-up exam for every student based on only the skills they missed to ensure that we close that assessment loop so that we're not just testing for a grade, but rather we are testing to identify problems, strengthen those problems, and then reassess to make sure that we've closed that gap. Our training options can be delivered one of 2 ways. We can either train your entire campus all at once, if you have an in-service day coming up, or you have some sort of group PLC time, we can do that. Or each teacher can sign up for their training individually. We've got training calendars for all 3 sessions. Just going to give you a quick sneak peek at what they look like. So you'll log in and you'll say, okay, I know I have some free time on Wednesday. If you look at Wednesday and that happens to work for you, fantastic, you can register. If it doesn't, you can go ahead and look at Thursday. You can see we've got 4 options on Thursday, 1 on Friday, several on Tuesday, and they actually differ from week to week at times. So kind of look around, see if anything fits your schedule. If it doesn't, please note, it says if you cannot find a time that works for your schedule, please just email us and we will get you an alternative option. Okay, so that's essentially the end of the demo. I just want everyone to know that they can certainly reach out to me directly emartin@getmoremath.com. We can go ahead and get that pilot started, especially if you are a principal, an assistant principal, an instructional coach, a math lead. You have the ability to both approve the pilot and schedule that first training. We'll get your teachers rostered, et cetera. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to reach out. We're excited to work with you this year. Have a great day.